Content is king, but creating community around it is queen. Content, you're going to hear a lot about content marketing these days. It's all about content. Get your video out there, get your newsletter out there, get onto social media. I wasn't much of a chess player, but I do remember this. The king was kind of important. You lose your king, you're gone. So your content is your king. But your queen, that's your community. And that's the community, the sharing, the interaction that you build around your content. And that's what you need to create to move forward now to really leverage that content. If content is king, creating community is queen. A couple things, I'll make a note here, that are great things to be able to leverage your content. Who's on Google+? Okay, who uses Google+? I've done this before, and a few people say, yes, I'm a member of Google+. It's kind of like being a member of the gym. Everyone's a member, but nobody goes. Okay, but if I could encourage you to do Google+ for one reason and one reason only, it's because of search and rank and authorship. If you publish things on a URL, which is the same URL as your email address, you will automatically get Google authorship. What that means is you'll rise through search, and your little postage head will appear beside all of your articles. Okay? If for no other reason. And plus, I would never bet against Google. LinkedIn publishing platform, they've just started this recently in terms of leveraging your content. Some people have been invited to publish with them as a sort of a test group, and that's where you see it's like a little pencil mark right beside where you go to post on LinkedIn. That's how you'll know. You can actually request to be on this. I actually did that a couple weeks ago, and what they do is they look at a website of where you've published content, and they decide, I guess, if you're worthy or not. So I am now what they call a LinkedIn publisher, and so what that allows me to do is publish things out, and they share it to a huge audience. I've heard phenomenal things about this. Facebook Newswire is another thing that's starting to show up in our feed. It's a partnership with Storyful, which is owned by Robert Murdoch in Ireland, and that is going to start to be a way to leverage a lot of our content as well. So we want to think about it as anchors and outposts. This is the only slide where I've got copy. Anchors, website, email, blogs, podcast. You want to publish your original content on a platform that you own. The reason for that is that you can change the rules. Nobody can change them on you. If you publish your content exclusively on a social media platform like Facebook, LinkedIn only, somebody else can change the rules. Facebook did change the rules. It used to be that a like meant that everybody got your stuff. Now the funnel is much slower. I think it's even less than 10%. It's around 6 or 7 that are actually seeing the stuff if they liked your site. So using anchors to publish and using outposts to leverage and spread that message and to engage a discussion. So using a variety of these depending on your business, what makes sense for you. Okay? Anchors and outposts is the analogy. So I've got my blog. I publish my blog weekly. I also publish an e-newsletter, which I put out on Sunday morning. A couple months back, what I did is an interesting thing. I shared a story on the power of the written word. I shared a story how I had sent out a handwritten postcard to a group of attendees at a conference. I was going to be doing a whole talk on social media. And I thought, how can I zig when everybody else zags? I'm going to send them a handwritten postcard from the most beautiful place on earth, Vancouver. Handwritten. Who is not going to read that thing? These people walked into the conference holding the card. They wanted to see who this person was who had sent them the card. I had to get it sent out through the conference organizers because of PIPEDA rules and all sorts of stuff, but I managed to get it done. So what I did is I told this story on my e-newsletter, but what my folks on my e-newsletter didn't know is I took a sample of 20 of the people who I know engage on a regular basis. And I took them as a sample and I sent them all a postcard that week. I knew it would arrive a couple days after my e-newsletter. It's just a sample, and it was just handwritten postcard, and I included my phone number and my email address. Without exception, every single person got back to me from a variety of means: email, text, Facebook message, some people by phone, some people in person, some people by LinkedIn, but they got back in touch, and they said how interesting it was to be contacted in that mode and how engaging it was. Also, without fail, over the next 3 to 4 weeks, I set up coffee meetings with those folks. It wasn't because I did it deliberately to do that. It just came out of the conversation and the connections. Sometimes you zig to create those relationships. So nurture your relationships with your tribe. Your tribe are the people who like you, who can do business with you. Those are your connections. So if content is now king, creating community will be queen. And that seems a fitting end for Connected Women, where we're all about community, creating that connection with those around you.